tell us exactly what happened in the case of Thelma Barrows and Grace Romero.
Senator Owens, Grace Romero was the first tenant when HUD built the Mandela development back in 1968. She's been a resident for 30 years. She has been active board member for over 20 years. Since I took control of Mandela, since 1981, she has been active in the youth program, she's been active with the tenants, she's been active toward tenant ownership, and she has played a part toward empowerment. Thelma Barrows also, she has been active, and she has filed motion on the federal court for investigation of the fraudulent tax credit and their ownership. And you could click under the players, you'll see Thelma Barrows' picture, and you click on that, you'll see all the motion, and Grace Romero's eviction speaks for itself. When Grace Romero was being evicted, I went to the housing court to be a witness. The fact, the attorney for Beacon residential property clearly misled the court, and he said he represents the Mandela residents. And Beacon is unique enough to make the residents evicting each other, where in a sense the attorney was really representing Beacon. That's clearly fraudulent. Judge there knew better not to let me understand and explain to him the background and the fraudulent eviction that has taken place on Grace Romero. That's very tragic, very devious. And after 30 years, a woman at her age right now in retirement, she doesn't deserve to be out evicted.
When a resident sells out the other residents, is there any punishment for that? How can such a person be punished, or is there any legal way to punish that person other than having the tenants vote him out, him or her out, after that happens?
Well, what's unique about it, Beacon articulately made sure there is no evidence of that, because the original president of the Mandela Residence Partnership was Glenn Hall, and he played an active role with Mayor Menino and Beacon Residential Property and the governors, and he was at the celebration of the Mandela residence at the Roxbury Community College. And for a president who's supposed to be working with Beacon toward the goal of ownership, he moved 6 months after, and he works for the MBTA. I was told he got a promotion. All the other residents moved out. Beacon were paying $5,000, whoever wants to move voluntarily. And basically, they dismantled all the original players that they understood the partnership, they understood the tax credit, they understood their legal rights to an ownership. So Beacon clearly knew what they were doing.
There's a lot more to be mentioned here. However, we can't do everything in one taping or one sitting. We cannot get all of the information out. We will do other tapes. I'd like to ask Mr. Mourad if he would give us a wrap-up statement, give us some advice. He's been through this. He's lost a ton of money. And what would you advise young entrepreneurs to do if they were in a similar situation? Well, and before you answer the question, what do you see as the potential for Roxbury as far as the gentrification issue is concerned and Beacon's role in all of that?
Well, for Lower Roxbury, that gentrification already started, I would say, since Mandela fell into the trustee hand. Because Mandela is 6 acres of land, prime land in the Lower Roxbury. The city agenda is to maximize land value, to create more revenue for the city. For example, Mandela sits on 6 acres of land. The Prudential sits on 6 acres of land. The Prudential pays over $15 million of real estate taxes. Also, they pay $70 million of sales tax, and they employ hundreds of people. So if you take a look right now into Lower Roxbury, you see the Reggie Lewis Center. It's only a slogan name, named after Reggie Lewis, but the bottom line, who's going there, is you elitist white folks in the future. You take a look at the Boston Police Station, $71 million. The crime is on the increase. And the reason for it, they're not given enough protection for Roxbury because they want the residents to move out. Because when you can't control the neighborhood and the crime takes over, that's intentional, deliberate. And the choice of the family is to move out of Roxbury. That's one way to gentrify it. So I predict for the next 10 years, Beacon residential property will play the gentrified part. They will own the majority of Lower Roxbury and Roxbury. And I think the last black culture is on their way out. I think this should have started 10 years ago. What we're talking about right now, we're 10 years behind time. I don't think there's enough time to regroup and put the community together and put a stop to the gentrification and control whatever's left today in Lower Roxbury and stop expanding the gentrification. That's up to the black leadership, that's up to the clergymen, that's up to the churches, that's up to the ministers, that's their culture. I can't speak for them, but I could advise them. I lived through the gentrification to the south end, and we had Arabic community, we had 3 churches, and we were all displaced by the BRA, and none of us exist today, and that's what's going to happen to Roxbury, and that's what's happened national. That issue is a national issue as well as Boston.
Mr. Mourad, we are truly grateful to you for making us aware of what is going on in Roxbury, starting with Mandela, and how the people there have been duped. I agree with you that any time there is a desire for gentrification, the city will withdraw the services. The people will find themselves in a dilemma, particularly in the area of crime, and they'll find that they'll want to leave that area. We don't want the people of Roxbury to leave. We want them to stay there, and we're going to hope that we can turn around the issue of gentrification. But in the meantime, we've been fortunate. We want to give special thanks to Dre Hollywood Entertainment. We hope that the public at large will benefit from this document. But equally important, we hope that governmental officials will see it and begin to do something about it. There's a lot of corruption that goes on, even beyond my imagination, in the federal court. I sat there and I saw it, and I know that there was a corruption that was going on. The judge knew it, and any time a federal judge will allow a trustee to say that a property is worth $100,000 that has over 276 units, where an appraiser will come in and show him a $12 million appraisal. One group will offer 5.5 million to purchase. Another group will offer $4 million to purchase. But the trustee has said it was worth $100,000. Something smells, and as my mother would say, there's a dead cat on the line. Thank you.